Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the last hurrah for the great 5-digit reference Rolex Oyster Perpetual Sea-Dweller. You can see and you can purchase this 2007 Z Series Rolex Oyster Perpetual Sea-Dweller, reference 16600, on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full commercial listing for this last-of-the-line Sea-Dweller, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and of course, complete pricing details for this Rolex. Now, of course, in 2008, the Deep Sea arrived, and the 5-digit 40mm case Sea-Dweller was no more, at least for a little while. But while it was later revived in a 40mm format, the perfect proportions of the original 5-digit model were never precisely recapitulated by the 116600. This watch remains a work unto itself, and as the last of the line, it also represents the best and most deluxe of the line. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that the watch certainly wears more compact than any current production Sea-Dweller. Now, 40mm across the broad of the case from 9 to 3, not inclusive of crown guard or crown. The watch is thicker than a Submariner, whereas a Submariner is about 12.5mm. This one's solidly 14.5, but not overwhelming, not by the standards of modern sports watches. You're still good to go with most cuffs and sleeves. Now, from lug to lug, it has traditional dimensions, but note that this late model production watch does have solid end links in the bracelet reference 93160A. So the distance between lug to lug, should you put this one on a strap, is going to be 48mm. Worn on the solid end link bracelet, the span across the wrist is a more substantial 50.5, 51mm of span. So the watch does wear larger, but that's always been the case with the oyster-cased Rolexes. Now, it has substantial heft to it, but this is the last of the hollow center link bracelets in the Sea-Dweller line, and the last of the stamped clasps. Fortunately, if you're going to get the last of the line, you also enjoy the benefit of having a relatively recent production piece, meaning that there is almost no stretch, wear, honestly, no discernible wear and tear of any kind on this particular clasp short of my fingerprints. It's in excellent condition, retains perfect definition inside and out, the clamshell closure remains absolutely secure, and again, this bracelet is a bit of the best of both worlds. It has the security and the substance of the solid end links, but it has the traditional Rolex bracelet feel that many miss in the current generation bracelets, which feel wonderful, but sometimes as heavy and cumbersome as a battleship anchor. Now, what you also have here is a handsome combination of solid unperforated lugs, the helium escape valve, a more, shall we say, manageable case profile than the Deep Sea that succeeded it. Remember, the Deep Sea is almost 4mm thicker than this watch. And of course, the aesthetic of the watch is basically a cleaner Submariner. Nothing much jumps at you to distinguish this one from the Sub, with the exception of a different print at 6 o'clock on the dial, and the absence of the sometimes aesthetically awkward Cyclops Eye magnifier. Not only is there none of that here, but you don't have the hazard of having that particular appurtenance knocked off by accident, and it creates a very clean and balanced dial, wherein the date window nicely counterbalances the index at 9, and of course, all white gold applied indices with white gold hands at center. The watch has a beautiful gloss dial color. Again, everything about this watch is just about perfect proportionally, and inside, it's just about perfect mechanically. It's Rolex's tried and true caliber 3135 underneath this solid case back, which thoughtfully is both polished and satin finished. You have the 31 jewel automatic bidirectional winding Rolex power plant, and of course it features its 4 Hz beat rate, and because of the bidirectional winding, it's very smooth and unobtrusive on the wrist, the polar opposite of a Valjoux 7750, for example. It features hacking seconds, so pull the crown, stop the balance, and synchronize to a reference time, such as a dive timer or atomic clock, and we'll start winding this one for a little bit of performance art. It also features a full balance bridge, which is important because anchored at both sides of the balance wheel, that provides attenuation of shock and makes it better suited as a sports watch caliber. It also features a free-sprung balance with a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring that allows you to resist positional or gravitationally induced timing deviation, and of course, because of the free-sprung architecture, it's more resistant to shock-induced timing deviation and better takes a regulation from your watchmaker. Now, naturally, Being Rolex, it's tank tough. It's thick, it's highly standardized, and like the watch itself, it will outlast you. But it's also exceptionally precise, being a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. Everything about this watch, from its traditional profile to the traditional feel of the timepiece on the wrist, to the beautifully made clasp retaining all of its definition, gloss, and satin surfaces, speaks to a transitional period in the history of Rolex. As one of the last hollow centerlink sports watch bracelets offered in the canon of Rolex sports watches, the Sea-Dweller, the Submariner, the Explorer II, the GMT, the Daytona, this watch is a little bit of a memento of a grand previous era while retaining all of the refinements of the 21st century. You can see and you can purchase this Rolex that sort of sits between two worlds but remains a fan favorite on our website.